Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about the 64th Navamsha. It is the most important and a sensitive point in our chart. So what it is all about, I'm going to talk about it through my video, and I will also present before you some research that I have done on 64th Navamsha. So friends, before beginning my video, I want to remind you that if you want to listen to the same video in Hindi, you can directly click on the link which I have provided in the description box, and it will take you to my video in the same subject in Hindi language. So friends, let's start about this topic. So 64th Navamsha is basically calculated from your ascendant in the D1 chart. In the D1 chart, we are having 12 houses. Each house is having one sign. So starting from the ascendant, the first sign is having 30 degrees. And in 30 degrees, we are having 9 divisions. Each division is of 3 degrees, 20 minutes. That means in the first house itself, we are having 9 Navamshas. So if we count up till the 7th house, we will get 63 Navamshas. So that means the 64th Navamsha, which I am talking, is the first 3 degrees 20 minutes in the 8th house. So if there is a planet which is associated with the 8th house, will be very critical for you in its dasha, because it is sitting in the 64th Navamsha. Now the same thing, 64th Navamsha, can be calculated in the D9 chart also. The D9 chart calculation of 64th Navamsha is a bit complicated. So the simple way to look at the 64th Navamsha in the D9 chart is to just see where the planet is sitting. And from that house, counting first as that house, you reach to the fourth. The fourth house from any given placement of planet in the D9 chart is its 64th Navamsha. In the classic texts of astrology, the fourth house from moon is considered as the 64th Navamsha. But there are many other classic texts which says that the 64th Navamsha from the D9 ascendant can also be calculated, which is the fourth house from it, and the 64th Navamsha from any given planet in the D9 chart can be seen. For example, if you want to know about your marriage prospects, so Venus is the Karak of marriage. So wherever your Venus is placed in the D9 chart, count that house as 1, and from that house, go to the 4th house in the D9 chart. If you are having benefics in the 4th house to Venus, it means you will have a good married life. If you are having malefics in the 4th house to Venus, it means you will have difficulties in your married life. So this is one way of looking at the things while we are doing the prediction. Lots of astrologers who are serious about the subject, they use 64th Navamsha very frequently. But there are lots of people who do not use 64th Navamsha. So friends, I did some research on this topic, and I will share with you my observations with some examples so that you are able to understand this concept better. So I'm going to put my screen on the share mode, and I will keep explaining my point simultaneously. So the 64th Navamsha, as I told you, can be calculated, and it can be seen from any given planet, be it Venus, Mercury, Jupiter, Mars, Sun, Saturn. So for example, if you want to study the prospects of your younger sibling or about the land related things, you can consider 64th Navamsha from Mars. If you want to study about your father, your bosses, then you can see the 64th Navamsha of Sun. Next point. So if there are malefics transiting in the 64th Navamsha, they will give bad results. Benefics transiting in the 64th Navamsha to any given planet will give good results. Rahu, being a malefic, can give excellent results when it is transiting in the 64th Navamsha. But at the same time, Rahu can also give bad results when it is transiting the 64th Navamsha to any given planet. Saturn transiting in the 64th Navamsha to Moon can also give the demise of the native himself. And Ketu transiting in the 64th Navamsha to a given planet can cause loss of some dear ones. And dasha of any planet which is in the 64th Navamsha to Moon is very important. So that dasha can be good also, and that dasha can be difficult also. Now I will share with you the first example here. This is the chart of a native who got married many years ago, and during that time he was running the transit of Venus, Mercury, and Jupiter in the 64th Navamsha to his Moon and Mars. Now you see that his ascendant lord is Mars, and Moon is a very important planet when we talk about the 64th Navamsha. So from both these planets, the fourth house is Sagittarius in the D9 chart, and in the sign of Sagittarius, Venus, Mercury, and Jupiter were transiting. So it gave him a very happy event of his marriage. So friends, it's not always that the planets in the 64th Navamsha will give some difficulties, but they can give happy events also, like in this case. So this is one of my observations. In the second example, we have our ex-Prime Minister Shri Rajiv Gandhi, who died in 1991. And during the time of his death, Rahu was transiting in the 64th Navamsha to his moon in the D9 chart. So his moon is placed in the sign of Virgo, and from the moon, the Sagittarius was the 64th Navamsha, where malefic Rahu was transiting. I happen to look at his chart from the Dasha point of view also to understand this better. So in the same example, when he died, he was running the Dasha of Rahu, Mercury, and Rahu. The Mahadasha Nath was Rahu, and Rahu was in the 64th Navamsha to Sun in the D9 chart. So look at the D9 chart. This is here. Sun. Sun is the ascendant lord here. So friends, Sun becomes a very critical point here. From the Sun, the 64th Navamsha was of Rahu. And Rahu was sitting in the 64th Navamsha, and it was the Mahadasha lord. So it became a critical planet in its Dasha. Then was the Mercury Antardasha. So friends, in the Dasha system, the Antardasha is always very, very important. So Mercury in the Antardasha was in the 64th Navamsha to the moon. If you see moon, it is in Virgo, and Sagittarius is the 64th Navamsha to moon, where Mercury was sitting. So again, the Antardasha lord was looking problematic. Then the Pratyantar Dasha was also of Rahu. Again, Rahu, I explained you, is in the 64th Navamsha to Sun, and Sun is the ascendant lord. He was having Leo ascendant. So these were some of the factors which indicated that the Dasha period is going to be problematic for the native. So friends, 64th Navamsha is one of the parameters which you should always check while analyzing the Dasha. It is not completely like that on the basis of 64th Navamsha you should do predictions, but you should include them, and they can give you a very solid indication of what you can expect during the Dasha period. So these are my observations. So now we will go to the next example. The next chart is of our current Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, who is running his second tenure as the Prime Minister, and he will complete his tenure by next year, and then there will be fresh elections. But when the first time when he became the Prime Minister, it was the year 2014, and the month was May, and the date was 26th. During that time, if you look at his ascendant chart, which is this one, I will enlarge this. So his ascendant is of Scorpio, and the Scorpio is, Mars is the ascendant lord here, and Sun is the 10th lord. So friends, I checked his transit, and during this time, Venus and Moon were in the 64th Navamsha to his Sun. Sun is the 10th lord here, and in the D9 chart, the 64th Navamsha is the Aries sign. So Venus and Moon were transiting in the sign of Aries when he became the prime minister, when he was declared the prime minister. So they gave him very good results. As I said earlier, that benefics will give good results in the 64th Navamsha. Then the next point is that Rahu was in the 64th Navamsha to Mars. So Mars is the ascendant lord here, and the 64th Navamsha is the Libra sign where Rahu was transiting at that time. So as I said in the earlier slides, that Rahu can give very good results while transiting the 64th Navamsha, but it can also give very negative results. To him, it gave him very good results. So there were two indications of some positive outcome during the period of 2014. So this point is looking positive here. Now I'll go to the other slide, which is of a native who got married in the period of Sun Venus. So friends, first we will look at it from the Dasha point of view, and then we will look at it from the transit point of view. From the Dasha, Venus period is going to end next year. But this native, when he came to me, he was having problems in his marriage. The reason is that in the Antardasha of Venus, if you look at his chart, from the Venus, you can see the 8th house is the ascendant. And in the ascendant, Saturn is currently transiting. We all know Saturn transiting in the Aquarius sign since the beginning of this year. So from Venus in the D1 chart, the 64th Navamsha is afflicted by a planet Saturn. Similarly, in the D9 chart, the sign of Scorpio is afflicted naturally. So which shows that in the period of Venus, something negative or some problem related to marriage will happen. So the Dasha is indicating, but his problem started around the time when Saturn in the Navamsha was also in the sign of Scorpio. Now friends, this is a new point which I am introducing now, that whenever you look at the transit of a planet, you can also check its position in the Navamsha sign. You can also check its Navamsha. For example, in the month of March for this native, Saturn was in the sign of Aquarius and it was in the Navamsha of Scorpio. So if you look here, from Venus, the 64th Navamsha is Scorpio and Saturn was transiting here. And in the D1 chart also, from Venus, the 64th Navamsha is Aquarius sign where Saturn was transiting. So both these things indicated that there will be some serious problems in his marriage. And ever since then, the native and his spouse are separated and they have not formally declared separation, but they are living away from each other. So this is how the Dasha got spoiled due to the transit of Saturn, and it gave him negative results. So friends, these were some of my observations related to the transit of planets in the 64th Navamsha. So I hope I have been able to convey my point to all of you regarding this Navamsha. And if I happen to learn more through my research on the 64th Navamsha, I will be happily sharing through it through my videos. So stay connected. If you like the video, do hit on the like button and do share it with your friends. And I will bring something more interesting very soon. Till then, goodbye, friends.